Studio. Check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Yeah, it's Monday, guys. Good morning to you. We are at a new week. We are at Thanksgiving week, a short week for the work week, and I am having a conversation with my boy, The Dream. Dream, great track to open up with this morning.
No doubt, no doubt. SBTV Nation, I apologize that we don't have the sound effects of breathing in the background today.
Heavy breathing, rocking and rolling on the weekends.
Dr. Dizzle is not on with us for the breathing effects because y'all was really feeling the breathing effects. I got several DMs about the breathing this weekend.
No doubt.
Hopefully Dizzle is somewhere right now murdering the air.
Yes, sir. So, guys, we are live on Twitter right now. SBTV Nation, getting ready to break down what went down in the NFL yesterday. And I'm going to let my man, The Dream, lead the way. What's up?
Sloppiness. First of all, the first thing we need to talk about, obviously, the big theme of yesterday, nonstop, all day long, started right out of the gate. Missed extra points. And kicking game has become chaos.
Well, I got to tell you this much, Dream. I was thinking about it yesterday, and now what I'm going to do is, rather than buying the spreads down to 6.5, I'm going to bring them down to 5.5 because there are so many 6-point wins with all these mixed extra points, and not even a lot of it accounted for the weather accounted for probably 30% of them, but they missed them for days yesterday.
Inside missing, in dome missing, just missing. It was like they all called each other and said, "Hey, we're gonna miss some field goals today." You know, not only that, but you talk about the missed field goals, and you think about the 2-point conversion elements as well. That a lot of teams are apparently seem to be buying into. Dude, your boy. I mean, the SBT. One of our trademark stamps has been the money line parlay game.
Yep.
I can't stress money line in games now more than ever now, right now. Just get that out of the equation because the points are just bananas now with all this stuff going on. So the money lines are just that much more attractive.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because I lost the Giants by a half point because they missed 2 PATs, Dream.
Dude, I don't know how you took the Giants with the spread. I'm screaming at you when we were on the show. I'm like, dude, you should just money line that. Just put that in the money line. Don't do that spread in.
Well, I did one play with them, but it failed miserably with Kansas City. But go ahead.
Gotcha. I gotcha. As we want to start this thing off, let's start off right in Pittsburgh land with the Steelers. Very impressive win as far as I was concerned. The Steelers took care of the Browns. We knew the Browns were a bad team. We knew the Steelers back against the wall. Had to get a win. Talked about Ben's big arm in those weather conditions. Also the ability to be able to run the ball with Le'Veon Bell. 28 carries, 146 yards, 1 touchdown. You know, did their thing. And then they hit Kessler so hard, dude. Oh, my whole TV screen buckled.
Yeah, I saw that.
The hit was crazy, man. It knocked him out. He's in protocol concussion. Cleveland, man, it just doesn't get any. I don't know what the answers are for Cleveland. I don't know what this team does. You know, what are my thoughts with Cleveland? Cleveland, like Pittsburgh, needs to embrace a really. To me, Ben Roethlisberger is like a lumberjack.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a lumberjack playing football. That's the type of quarterback you need in Cleveland, I believe, to be successful. Because, you know, like right now, with Tony Romo being available, probably next season, there's a few teams that are talking about they want Romo, and Cleveland will be one of the people in the mix for Romo. And I'm like, Cleveland, you know, Romo is too injury prone.
Yeah, right.
for Cleveland to be considering Romo, because that's like a tough conditioned atmosphere out there where a lot of games are going to be played in weather conditions. I know he's got a culpable arm, but just his injury proneness to me does not make him a candidate for the Browns. You need a fresh, young, strapping lad.
Yeah, right.
Lumberjack type, you know what I'm saying? Coming out of college, somebody that just could take a pounding. That's the type of quarterback you're going to need there and build your franchise around, because you just need some tough guys.
Well, they got RG3 that's been sitting on the sidelines the entire season. So, I mean, they gave it a shot, but obviously they got somebody that was injury prone, and we know the same thing happens with Tony Romo, so that's probably a bad look for them.
Definitely a bad look. So if Cleveland, the word for today is keep looking, don't look towards Tony Romo. Speaking of Tony Romo, we'll move right on into that game as the Cowboys once again proved their dominance in what I find a very funny storyline is the Cowboy corner, Brown, has made comments about Steve Smith Sr. that Steve Smith's talk game just had him in stitches, like he could not concentrate on the game. He lost respect for Steve Smith. I'm like, dude, come on. Everybody in the country knows Steve Smith talks trash.
Right.
I mean, Steve Smith is like the consummate trash talker. He's like, out there every play after every down, Steve Smith is talking trash. I'm like, dude, just relax, man. Don't pay cousin Steve no attention.
I agree. And you know what? When you look at it here, Dak Prescott is my man DJ Hunter Grant is telling me that 5 straight games with 2+ passing TDs ties an NFL rookie record, tied with Dan Marino and Russell Wilson.
Awesome. That's great. And I know the Cowboy fans are really excited to have a winning season and this winning pedigree that looks like it's going to be unstoppable. I got to tell you something. Your defense is not all that, though. That Cowboy defense is not all that. And don't get too feeling yourself because you beat the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens offensively are all that either. No. But then again, when you look at the NFL, there's not a lot of teams who offensively are going to be all that challenging. But you do have a lot of stuff going on in that NFC East right now that looks very interesting. So before you guys think you're just going to run away with this, I would say not so fast, but you do look really strong. Offensive line was dominant again. Zeke Elliott did his thing. Dez Bryant had a big day as well as far as fantasy numbers are concerned. Hey, Cowboys look really great. I got nothing to say about them. I like this game, especially after we talked about it on the show. I ended up liking it more because I ended up putting it in my parlay because I thought about Romo's seal of approval, as far as the offense was concerned and passing over to Dak. Yep. So you got that whole emotionally good feeling thing there. So I expected this game to roll, and they did roll.
All right. Sounds good. Dallas is 9-1 now.
Dallas 9-1, and a lot of vocals coming out of Dallas. A lot of vocals coming out of Dallas. We move on to the Lions Jaguars. Matthew Stafford, sort of impressive. Struggled a little bit here and there in certain spots, as you know they would. I mean, the Lions. You know what I mean? I said it, I think, on the show. At half, it was 9-9. And you're like, opens up, Jags get a field goal right out of the game. That's what was so bothersome about the field goals, too, Hat. The inconsistency of them.
I know.
Like the guy would miss an extra point, but then go make a 52-yarder. What kind of sense does that make?
They learned their lesson from the last one. That's all.
No doubt. But, good game by Matthew Stafford and this Detroit Lions team. Defense kind of stepped it up a little bit. Of course, they did let the Jags take a little small lead in this game to give you that stomach ache because, Detroit wouldn't feel right not giving you a stomach ache throughout their game, but was able to overcome it. Jacksonville, next season.
Yeah, I agree.
Next season.
Brutal loss for them.
Next
and it's
season.
just the losing continues over there in Jacksonville.
Losing continues, definitely.
All right.
Did you see any bright spots about this game?
You know what? Looking at it here, not really. I mean, you know what? Matthew Stafford, his numbers were very, very soft until like the third or fourth quarter, Dream. I mean, I had him on one fantasy lineup, and he just was not performing at all. I'm like, that one's dead. Forget it. So, hey, you know what? It is what it is. But they get the victory, and right now you're looking at the Lions are 6-4 and 4-1 at home.
6-4 and 4-1, very, very impressive for the Lions. And on top of that division, and I think, it looks like they're going to win that division.
Not so fast. I mean, you still got a little ways to go here. There's only you still got 6 games left.
Sure.
And they're tied with the Vikings. And I mean, Green Bay. I don't know what happened to them, but we'll talk about them a little later in the show. But anything could happen here. You know how the Lions are on the road. They're not that good. They're 2-3 on the road.
I know they're 2-3 on the road, but as I look at their schedule, coming up, obviously they got the home game on Thursday. They're going to be able to space themselves out a little bit. I think that they are going to win this division.
All right. Well, put it in now, brother.
Yeah, no, I'm going to put that in now.
What's the next game on your slate?
All right. This game got me really salty because yesterday was a really dope day. But this game right here, had it hit the over, yesterday would have been bananas for me. So we take the Titans-Colts game.
Oh, wow.
I get 20. What did I get?
28 points by the half.
28 points by the half. I'm thinking I got it all day long. Third quarter comes. I don't get much out of the Colts, but I get the Titans, kind of pulling themselves back in the game. Fourth quarter comes. I'm still struggling a little bit, but now I'm at the point where I could see it coming to fruition because, you get down to that about 3:25 mark. Now everybody really starts stepping it up, trying to put the clamps on. So I'm like, I'm going to get the score here and I'll go over. Now, this is what's annoying to me about this game. First of all, when I looked at the total, because I bought this total down, I said to myself, first I had it at 41. I was going to buy it to 41. It was a little bit on the pricey side because I've been poisoned by the SBTV Nation as far as me penny pinching with gambling, which I need to just stop doing that. But nevertheless, it was a little bit expensive. So I said, I don't know. Let's look at it again. So I'm thinking to myself, I could see this game 21-21, possibly overtime.
Yep.
Okay? That's what I said at the beginning of the game. That was my thoughts. And then I said 21-21 is 42. Then somebody will have to kick a field goal that puts you at 45. So I'm like, all right, 44 should be safe. 44 wasn't too bad, wasn't too expensive, so I go for the 44. Bought it down to 44.
Ooh.
So now, here we go. 4 minutes left in the game. 4 minutes left in the game. The Tennessee Titans have all 3 of their timeouts. Okay? All 3 of their timeouts. They're down 7 points, 24-17, which is the final score. They get the ball, and it's a 4th and 1, and they're in field goal range. It might have been a little bit of a long field goal, but they were in field goal range, and remember, they're inside, okay? Their head coach, instead of kicking a field goal to make it 20-24, opts to go for it on 4th and 1.
Oof.
Okay? I'm going to tell you why this is bad coaching. Because you have all 3 of your timeouts and you have the 2-minute warning. You kick the field goal in this spot because if you don't get that, if you don't get the 1 yard, you're pretty much now, you're asking your defense to stop Andrew Luck, who's had some success during the game. And Andrew Luck in crunch time is going to find that 1 to 2 wide receivers to make that big play. So your first reason why you kick this field goal is you want to bring the score to within a touchdown. Wins you the game now, not ties you the game. It wins you the game. You got your 3 timeouts. You can even give up a field goal in this situation and still get the ball with the ability to win the game. Not to mention, of course, you're going to push on my overcall, and I'm not going to lose my wager.
Yeah, right. Right on.
My man goes for it on 4th and 1, gets it on 4th and 1. But now, here's the deal. Because now the clock is running down, you're under the 3-minute mark. So now, if you get another 4th and 1 situation, you have to go for it again, which sure enough, we move it right forward. Next series, you're back in 4th and 1 again. So now you use even more time on the clock. 4th and 1, go for it on 4th and 1, don't get it. Turn the ball over to the Colts. Colts pick up that 1 first down, run the clock all the way down to nothing. Yeah, you get the ball back, but you do nothing with it, and you lose the game 24-17. Bad end game by the Tennessee Titans.
And you know what, too? I was in one of those big fantasy contests, and I was looking stellar, Dream, going into the first half with Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, wow, I got a pretty good shot to make some real money here. And second half, it's like I kept refreshing, and I was getting no points after that. I don't know what happened to them in the second half, but Tennessee made some serious defensive adjustments, and I couldn't get anything to work in the second half as far as those two guys were concerned. So I ended up being from, like, in the money to being, like, very far from the money in the second half. It sucked. But anyway, hey, let's move on to the next game. What do you got?
Dang, and those parlays, yesterday 2 parlays were given out, and one of the games was an early game, and then you had the 2 late games. In those situations, I'm figuring you don't need the coaching to know that, well, you just run them back with the other 2 teams that are left, because obviously we felt good about those, but that's just a little small note in case you forgot about that. Bills-Bengals. AJ Green done for the season early in this game, and I think the Bengals are a wrap.
Yeah, they are.
I think they're a wrap, dude.
3-6-1.
I think it is time to let some things loose in Cincinnati, and that would be Marvin Lewis. Obviously, you don't want anybody to lose their job, but we're not talking about guys that are working at like Burger King or McDonald's. You're talking about, Marvin Lewis, been a coach here for a while, made, pretty decent living, I'm sure. He's making very, very good money being a coach. I'm sure he could survive, not working for the Cincinnati Bengals anymore, but it is definitely time to move in a different direction with this team because pretty much all is lost this season. This has been a bad season for them. They haven't been able to show up for games. They don't really look motivated out there. I do think that Andy Dalton is still a capable quarterback, but you are going to have to look for maybe 1 or 2 other weapons to put, with him. They've got still the makings or the foundation of a decent defense. I just think this team needs some small different changes, and I would start right at the head coaching spot. I think Marvin Lewis is done there.
Oh, absolutely. So they fall to 3-6-1, and the Bills are a 5-5 team, 3-3 away, and the Bills get an impressive victory though on the road. So we'll see how that ends up shaking out as far as the AFC East is concerned. What's next, Dream?
In other notes, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this is a game. I talked about it on the show. I said that the Chiefs don't blow anybody out. They always play up to the talent level of the team they play against. Now, the thing I've been watching with this Tampa Bay team, Tampa Bay is one of those teams, started out this season, and we thought Tampa Bay was going to be good. Well, better. I shouldn't say good. Better. Jameis Winston looked really good. Going to make that next step. Working with working with the quarterback coach that they now make the head coach. Everything should fit nicely. And then Tampa Bay starts struggling and stumbling and not really looking good. And their defense is still, probably question mark for Chabot. When you talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you still look at their defense and you're like, defense isn't doing it yet. But their offense in recent weeks has seemed to come to life. And I was a little bit worried about that with this particular game, especially because offensively this Chiefs team does not scare you. Yeah, I know you got Alex Smith, but you're not scared of Alex Smith because he's a dink and dunk quarterback, game management. And then when you look at the weapons, Macklin's out. You don't got the running game with Jamal Charles gone. The only guy of note that you got on this offense, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, right.
Okay? And when Travis Kelce's not catching balls, he's throwing his towel at the refs.
Very good point, Dream. You know what? Defensively, this team is good, but I saw Tampa Bay go up and down the field. And the thing is, for Tampa Bay, they could have definitely lost this game because they were just kicking field goals after field goals, and they weren't missing at all. So, you know what? They were close, but Kansas City squanders the lead and loses this game, and I was very surprised that they lost this game, Dream.
Yeah,
I like Nick Foles better than I like Alex Smith, to be honest with you.
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, I kind of maybe do too, because at least Nick Foles takes those deep shots.
Yeah, right.
Alex Smith will dink and dunk you to death, and it's like, oh my God. And I know, did you watch any of this game or just did Red Zone?
I did Red Zone all day. I
don't blame you. Yeah, because this game right here had nothing appealing about it. And I did Red Zone for most of the day, and it seemed like this game was never in the Red Zone.
Never. No, actually, no. Tampa Bay was kicking all the
Tampa Bay always had the right. Tampa Bay
always. I'm like, you know what? Kansas City scores, and then all of a sudden Tampa Bay's right back. I'm like, really? Whatever. It is what it is.
We go over to New York in the battle of the booty teams as well. Even though I think the Giants I shouldn't say they're booty. The booty bears, I should just say. And of course, the Bears made his stomach ache because this was one of my major stomach ache games for most of the day. And I had to watch a lot of this game because it was part of my 1 o'clock parlay. The Giants, man, good win by them. Giants are winning games this year that they lost last year. So I will say good win by them. Bad win when you look at the Bears and you say, well, why'd you struggle so much with the damn Bears? I mean, the Giants should have blew the Bears out. But, of course, you open up the game right out of the gate. And right out of the gate, the Bears had like the first touchdown out of every team on here. Bears had 74.
Right away, I'm like, you got to be kidding. Am I starting the day out like this? I
was like, oh, my God, no way. Yeah. I was like, I hadn't even got – I had it making a sandwich, ran upstairs, got the sandwich out, got my plate, got downstairs, got my cup, got seated down, look at the ticker. Bam, the Bears already scored.
Sucked. I know.
But the Giants maintained their poise, came out, didn't let things get carried away. Because the Giants generally, when you see that score with them that fast, in the back of your mind, you're saying, please don't let this get out of hand. Because the Giants are good for doing that. Get off to a slow start, let the Bears get a big, big lead. They didn't let them get a very, very big lead, but they did let them get a lead. But it wasn't big. Went in at the half, made a couple adjustments. Boys came back out, looked good. Now, of course, here's my thing with the Giants, though. They had to rely on their defense in that fourth quarter because this game, you always were on the edges, still losing this game by 1 point. The Giants needed to get out there and get that one more field goal or touchdown so that it was 2 scores because you were stuck with this game with that stomach ache of, Cuddles could come back at the end of this game and still win this game, which we were at that point. At the end of this game, once again, I'm sitting there going, no way. Yeah. As Cuddles is driving the ball, and thank God my boy Cuts throws that bad pass that was picked off by the Giants, and it sealed it. But Giants get sent us for a little bit loop with this game. Giants, still a work in progress. I like this team. They're talented, but I just don't. I can't. They are not going to beat the Cowboys.
Oh,
they're not beating the Cowboys.
If there's one team in the NFC East that can knock off the Cowboys and spoil that impressive winning streak they got going
Washington Redskins.
No, it's the New York Football Giants dream.
Washington Redskins.
I'm telling you, I see it. And I think Dallas is. I know Dallas are feeling themselves and beating their chest and all that, but the last team you want to find in the playoffs is going to be the New York Football Giants dream.
I do not think that the Giants and Eli with those, I love Eli to death, but he will kill you with his mistakes, man.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? The kicker, too, missed 2 PATs, and I did not cover the spread. I lost by the hook because they wanted to win by 6, and I was given 6.5.
I think he was nervous because he was playing his old T. That was Robbie Gould. And by the way, I don't know if anybody picked up on this. One small interesting note to this game. If you were watching the Red Zone channel yesterday, the Red Zone channel announced that Robbie Gould missed the extra point before he missed the extra point when the Bears scored. Because the announcer says Robbie Gould missed the extra point against his former team. And I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, hey, the Bears scored a touchdown. Why did he just say that? So I'm thinking, oh, you know what? He must have messed up. Must have just thought about Robbie Gould playing for the Bears because he used to be the Bears kicker. No big deal, whatever. Sure enough, the Giants come down, scored their touchdown. Robbie Gould missed the extra point for the Giants. And he says it once again, the same exact thing. I don't know if anybody picked up on that. It was very, very bizarre yesterday.
Got it. All right. What do you got next? Turn the page.
Cardinals.
Oh, yeah. This game was actually a lot more scoring than everybody thought in this game, Dream.
The Arizona Cardinals 1 o'clock time slot was troublesome to me with this game. Didn't like them playing at 1 o'clock. When they played at 1 o'clock against Buffalo, they got murdered. They played against the Vikings. Vikings defensively did what they had to do. Offensively, I wasn't that impressed with what the Vikings did, but defensively, they were doing their thing. Bradford didn't look too bad. But it's my opinion. I don't think the Vikings are going anywhere. I do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of these teams are doing anything this year, to be honest with you.
I don't think the Vikings are going anywhere yet, and I don't think Arizona's going anywhere either, but it was impressive to see Arizona. David Johnson got it going a little bit yesterday, and I think the Arizona defense is a little bit overrated at hat.
Oh, big time. Big time. I mean, these are the two of the top 3 teams defensively in the NFL.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Arizona Cardinals are now 4-5-1, 1-3 on the road. And you know what? They have, 4 more games out of their, what do they got? 6 more games? 4 of the next 6 are on the road, Dream. So this team is probably not going to make the playoffs. And you know what? Carson Palmer was not all that impressive either.
Not at all. This team, I don't know what happened with them. I don't know what's on with them. But I'll tell you what. If Carson wants to retire, I think Arizona would be one of 2 incredible spots for Tony Romo. And I think Arizona would actually be the best spot for him.
I agree with you.
Because of the weather conditions.
Sure. Definitely. So, hey, good game overall, though. So, where you got next?
You know where we're going to go?
Well, you gave them the seal of approval yesterday, Dream. So, I'm a big shout to you. I actually played your track after you called them to win this game, but go for it.
They absolutely stunk, and I don't want to hear about them being good. And in case you guys don't know who I'm talking about, and you hear Hat's voice getting happy, it's this nasty-ass Miami Dolphin team that I don't know how they keep winning. Listen, I thought that they would win yesterday's game, but I didn't think they were going to win it like that.
Well, I got to tell you this much. They did look like crap in the first half. I totally agree with you on that. I mean, the offensive line could not protect Tannehill at all. They couldn't get the running game going. They couldn't get anything done offensively. But, the second half, obviously, especially the fourth quarter, I mean, they just marched up and down the field. Now, in L.A., playing the Rams in their building in the rain, not an easy place to play though, Dream. You've seen Seattle struggle and lose there time and time again. You've seen other teams, struggle over there as well.
Seattle doesn't lose there time and time again because this is the first year that the Rams have been in LA.
Oh, whatever. Being home, I'm saying. But believe it or not, they are 1-4 at home. It's I've just seen them in so many tight situations here, so it's not the easiest place to play in the world. But anyway, getting back to it. Miami Dolphins win again, Dream. So they're 6-4. I keep calling them a 10-6 team. And next week, they got to play the 49ers at home. So 7-4. Just saying. They're on their way. And their schedule goes as follows. At the Ravens after that, they got to play the Cardinals at home, at the Jets, at the Bills, and the Patriots at the end at home. And who knows if Patriots will even have any starters in at that point, being the last game of the season on New Year's Day. So I think this team's going to be 10-6. But, hey, let's move on, and, we'll keep it moving. But, obviously, I'm playing cheerleader for the Miami Dolphins.
Only thing I'm going to say about next week's Niners game, I'm going to say,
Yeah, I know.
Because the Niners, bizarrely, all right, are playing slightly better on the offensive end. Now, the defense is a whole other story. But the offensive end, they're playing slightly better. And I'll tell you what, if the Dolphins play the Niners like they just played the Rams, they will probably lose that game.
No way.
I think they would lose that game because if Goff could run and was mobile like Kaepernick is, they would have put up some more scoring on the Dolphins. So I was going to say, I'm not no crazy. The Niners stink. I mean, I've talked about Niners stink all day, and we're saying that we'll just go right into the Patriot-Niner game. Not a lot to talk about. Niners stink, but they did play a little bit better offensively as far as I was concerned. I still hate this guy's mechanics. I hate the way he throws the ball. Yes, he can run the ball. If you are able to run the ball in the NFL, just the defense just can't a lot for you. I mean, it's a lot to do, a lot to ask for out of the defense. And generally, a quarterback like Kaepernick is a little bit more athletic than most of your linebackers. We know that the Patriot defense has its struggles. We saw it against Seattle a little bit. So, but Tom Brady looked dope, did his thing, always finding somebody to step up. Malcolm Mitchell was that particular additive in yesterday's game. I'll tell you what, though, the Patriots really do look lost when Gronkowski doesn't play, though.
I agree.
They look very lost when Gronkowski doesn't play. And you need Gronkowski back. You need him healthy. You got to finish out this season strong because I think that the Patriots are going to definitely want home field advantage in these playoffs this season as last season, that ended up biting them in the behind.
It sure did. Having to go to Denver and lose out there. But moving on here, Dream, we got another game on the slate that was at 4 o'clock yesterday.
We do, and that was Seattle and the Eagles. Russell Wilson, pretty good day yesterday for Seattle and the Eagles. For Seattle. The one thing about the Eagles, I've talked about this team in the past, they just have no offensive weapons. No. And the guys they do have, it appears, I don't know, it appears like they're outmanned. And it's funny, these teams slightly remind me of each other, slightly, as just the role player guys. You're looking for somebody to step up and make plays, and it seems like it never ever comes to fruition. Now, what's problematic for Seattle is you lose Procise. I think I pronounced his name right this time because yesterday I drubbed it up. CJ Procise is going to be out for a few weeks, so now you're going strictly with Thomas Rawls. I know Rawls had about 10 carries yesterday. Was involved in the passing game, so he played pretty decently. But now it's going to be strictly Thomas Rawls, and now you're looking silly for letting Christian Michael go because you lose Procise, and it just appears that you're getting your mojo and you're getting ready. Got to keep an eye on Seattle moving forward. Seattle does look like their defense, though, is moving back to where it used to be.
Yeah.
And now I think, when you talk about Seattle's defense and talk about where they've been this season, dude, Camp Chancellor back on this defense is a huge additive to this defense. And the only reason I bring that up is you look at Norman, leaving Carolina, and now I guess we're starting to see defenses anchored by one guy. You miss one piece of the puzzle, and these defenses fall apart. But when they get back, they're right back to where they used to be. So Seattle getting very scary now.
I agree. And you know what? They're getting healthy at the right time. I mean, with the exception of Procise going down yesterday. But, Dream, they hit hard. Yep. Defensively, you just hear the helmets clanking and the shoulder pads and all that. And I got to be honest with you. I think Russell Wilson's playing a little bit better. I have not been a huge advocate of him over the years. But you know what? I like what they're doing, and they're getting Jimmy Graham involved a little bit more. And I think this team, 7-2-1, 5-0 at home. I think this team is looking to continue their winning ways and be a problem in the playoffs.
They still have a inconsistency on offense for that fluid type of offense to move up and down the field that I spot. Still a lot of 3-and-outs and just drives that don't look that great. But right now with the landscape that the NFL is in, because there's not many teams defensively that are that good, so they're going to be successful, especially in that NFC. So, and nobody's challenged them in that division that they're in. So I think that they're going to be okay, and hopefully, like you said, can get even a little bit more healthier and figure some things out, going down the road. And they are going to be a problem in the playoffs because they are defensively sound. The defense appears to be getting better.
I agree. And you know what, too? This was the game, Dream. This was called the frustration play for me.
Yes.
I kind of pushed heavy on this game and gave the 6.5. And you know what? Philly was driving at the end to get that backdoor cover. I'm like, dude, no way. There's no way this is going to happen. And sure enough, Philadelphia ended up not scoring. So I got lucky there.
Carson Wentz, man, back down to earth with him. Started off incredible this season, and Philly's just starting to fizzle out and just not look really good. Even on the defensive side of the ball, they're not looking that great and that potent anymore. I feel bad for this Eagles team because the season started out so promising for them, and now it is looking like it's just all falling apart at the edges. So it'll be interesting to see how they recover and how they bounce back next week, but it does not look good for the Eagles in that future, and especially their division is...
Yeah, they're in last place right now.
Last place in that division. That division is... I don't see them gaining any ground on any of those teams because I don't think they're better than any of the other teams.
Got it. And Sunday Night Football went down yesterday, Dream, and the Packers continue their losing ways.
Kissing cuz, son.
3 touchdowns.
Went bananas last night on Green Bay. And, the funny thing about Green Bay, I like the way Green Bay's offense looked for once. They looked decent. Aaron Rodgers was moving the ball, getting the ball downfield, running, having some fun. But Kissing Cuz and company was not having it. Every time the Packers, scored or did something, Kissing Cuz and his boys went out there and went ham. Dude, Redskins offense.
Yeah.
I was impressed, man. Kissing Cuz was getting it done. Listen, I was very impressed with Cousins' performance yesterday. 21 for 30, 375 yards, 3 touchdowns, but just hit. This was an offense that appeared to me, the offensive coordinator along with the rest of the team watched the game and knew what was going on and said, we need to keep the pace, we need to score, and we need to outscore them. And that's what they did.
Sure.
They didn't stand on the sidelines and just watch Aaron Rodgers and sit there and all and then go out and take the field and then 3 and out like you see these teams do all the time in these situations. Because I know in the back of people's mind, you kept thinking, Green Bay's probably going to pull this out. But every time you said that, guess what? The Redskins went out in the field and scored like they were supposed to. So many times I've seen this played the opposite way, and you don't get anything out of that offense, and it's like it's crazy.
Exactly. All right, Dream. So it's about that time to talk about Monday Night Football because we got a big game tonight. Believe it or not, both of these you would look at this game on the schedule at the beginning of the year and say, that's probably not going to be a great game. But you know what? It's in Mexico tonight, and you got the Oakland Raiders who are 7-2. Dream, believe it or not, looking to possibly get a number 1 seed in the AFC and have the road to the playoffs and road to the Super Bowl go through Oakland as they're hosting the 6-3 Houston Texans. Oh man, I think Oakland's the better team here, Dream. But I'd like to hear your thoughts before we get into mine.
Well, first of all, I absolutely love the Oakland Raiders tonight. And I'm on the Oakland Raider bandwagon now. I believe in the Oakland Raiders. Watched a lot of them. I watched them play a lot. The only thing about the Raiders that does bother me, their defense does allow a lot of yards. Right. 406 yards their defense allows. I know they've been winning games allowing the 406 as they put up 406 on offense, but still, the defense needs to tighten that down just a little teeny bit. Now, whenever your defense is playing really, really bad and you go to the doctors, they generally give you a quarterback like Brock Osweiler and say, go out there and get some of the big Brock's balls that he throws. So I'm sure that he will help them out in fixing up a little bit of that tonight. I don't like this Houston Texas team. And another team that similarly remind me of the Miami Dolphins, where I just cannot figure out how they're winning games. I think Brock Osweiler is probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't care what his numbers say. Yeah. This guy, to me, is a bad quarterback making a lot of money in the NFL. The other thing is, NFL, keep the damn games home. Get out of Mexico. Get out of London. You got viewer issues right here in the United States, and you think that you're going to go out and get it in other markets. Stop. I don't know why this game is being played in Mexico.
Well, Sir Mata is telling me that he hears that the location is 2,000 feet higher than Denver Stadium, Dream. So elevation may cause some issues here.
That's awesome. And I hope nobody gets sick over there, because if you do...
Yeah, right. Very good point.
Hope you flew in your own whole medical staff along with the hospital, because anything happens out there, there's going to be some issues. But I think they'll be fine. They've obviously played games over in Mexico before, and I'm just joking with that. But I do think that they need to get out of these other markets, keep the games home. I see the Raiders winning this game. The 6.
Get it down to 5.5 with all the missed PATs now.
I think they'll blow. I think they're going to blow it.
I think so too. I think they're going to win by 2 scores or more, to be honest with you. 10, 14, 13 points, something like that. I agree with you 100%. The Raiders' Achilles heel is their pass defense, giving up 283 yards per game. But when you're facing a quarterback of the likes of Brock Osweiler, I don't really think he scares you all that much. So I think the Raiders, going against a brutal quarterback, I think the Raiders will get it done and win this game convincingly. So I am going to take the Oakland Raiders tonight along with you, Drain.
Yep, I like the Oakland Raiders a lot. I don't usually lay spreads, but I'm really thinking about laying this 6. However, guys, we do have a short week as there's going to be games on Thursdays. So if you want to leave them spots open and take them on the money line, I'll probably do both. Probably be a money line parlay there with two open spots, and I may take the game straight minus the spread, as I do like the Raiders. As far as the total is concerned, I just don't see how the Texans are going to score. I would think teasing the Raiders in the under would probably work, because I don't see how the Texans score. But I'm going to stay away from this particular total. Last night, though, I didn't talk about it on the show, but I think a lot of people were on that over in last night's game. That was another over game that I probably should have pointed out during the show, because I did end up taking that over last night.
All right, sounds good. So, Dream, that's going to do it for us, man. All NFL, all day on this beautiful Monday.
To get out of here at this point, I want to thank everybody that's got involved with retweeting the show. Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, no problem. No problem at all, guys. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy your Thanksgiving week. Obviously, it is a short week, and we're all excited about it. Go out. When you go out on Wednesday night, it's rookie night. We know that, Dream. So just be careful. There's going to be a lot of drunks on the road. So, don't drink and drive, and keep your eyes on the road and keep your eyes over your shoulder as well.
You have it up because I can't pull it up right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem, man. Give me 1 second here while I pull that up, and we will have a quick conversation about who is retweeting the show. But what do you got to do to close out here, Dre?
Like I said, we like the Oakland Raiders tonight. I kind of like – I don't really like the total. I'm not going to play the total, but I do think that if you tease the Raiders and get rid of the 6 and you throw that on the under, tease the under up, I think that'll be successful. Actually, I think either way is probably going to work for you. I just don't see how the Texans score, but they'll probably find a way to get the ball in the end zone at some point. I don't think they're going to. I don't see how they score, but who knows? Heck, did the Dolphins cover their spread yesterday?
Of course.
What was the spread on that game?
They were giving 1.5. So that's that. Big ups to Wooch, GG, Martin, Snoopy Vets, Marlin, Shy Picks, Wayne Yarbrough, Andy Jones, LA WizKid, Anonymous is out there, Irvin, Jeff Ryan, Vegas Girl 92661. I got Sir Mata, Terrence Mack, and JC #SBTV. Guys, we love you to death. Go out there and go easy. Enjoy your short week. Make all your dreams a damn reality and get that money. Let's go.
I'm aware that the Giants beat the Cowboys, but listen. Both teams gone in two separate directions.
Yes.
Purple R and I'm the Dream. Always remember who you're with. Make the most of each and every day, because you cannot get this time back in the hat.
Yes.
As far as our scheduling, we're supposed to be back on Thursday, which is Thanksgiving.
We will not be on Thanksgiving.
We
will not. So, guys, you're on your own. Feel free to hit us up, and we can discuss our plays with you and see, put our heads together, see if we can make some money on Thanksgiving. Yeah, Dream, I've got the rivalry football game in the morning.
No doubt.
Thanksgiving high school football, Brantford versus East Haven. I will be there tailgating at 7 o'clock in the morning. Guys, have a good day.
Peace. Enjoy and have a happy holiday.